I'm just waiting for my co-host. Maybe in a sec. Ooh, two. I'm just waiting for Regan, the co-host of Pub Talk Football. Will be logging in a second, and we'll digest that game. Wasn't very good, was it? Let's be honest. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think, what your thoughts are. We'll discuss them as we go through the show. But yeah, for me, that's not good enough. And this run of fixtures we've got now, I think, is where we will see how good we sort of really are or really are not, I suppose. Because what we saw there was, what did we last? 20 minutes? We were decent for 20 minutes. That was all. You know, I don't understand how we can go from playing quite well in the last few games to that absolute shower that we saw there. Regan, hello.
Hello, mate.
All right.
Not too great after watching that, but what do we expect of this season, I suppose?
It was, well, this is it. I think that for me was, I think, where we could be looking at, really, sort of where we're at. I think these next run of fixtures are going to be where we are. We can sort of judge where this team will be. We had the opening 4 or 5 fixtures, and yeah, we looked all right at times, scored a few goals, only lost once. But to come out after the international break where they've all had a nice rest and put on a performance like that, it's not good enough, is it?
Yeah, the thing is, you expect us. I mean, I put a tweet out a couple of days ago about the first, was it 5 or 6 games for the international break, where we seem to have been a lot better in the first half, what we have in second half, so near enough every game. And obviously that's because other teams have got far more quality and depth to bring off the bench than what we have. You look at the bench again tonight, full of youngsters. But what's the excuse tonight in terms of fatigue? Because, I mean, Sibley's played 20 minutes for England. Baldock and Stretton have had 2 weeks off. Lawrence hadn't played for Wales. Shinnie went off at half-time anyway. He hadn't played for Scotland. None of them have really played for 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, exactly. I agree. And it's not good enough. It's not. There's no excuse for that. We played well for the first 20 minutes. I think that was. Well, that's about it. We created one chance really in that opening 20 minutes, and I thought, you know what, I was about in the first 10 minutes where Lawrence had a shot, was saved quite comfortably, really. But other than that, nothing else in the first half. Second half, I think. Lawrence again, this time forced to save from the keeper. And
couple of half chances, wasn't there? Nothing more.
There was nothing.
Yeah, he's on top first 20 minutes without really creating anything. You'd probably say we were a better team in balance of play, but obviously their goal, yet again, another individual error, lapse of concentration, stupid decision. I mean, I've seen people saying, Cocu ball's back again. I get the frustration with this playing out from the back, but you've got to look past the mistakes. You are going to have a couple over the course of the season.
Yeah.
For me, you've got to look at the individual there. It's just a stupid decision. Just go back to Roos. That's the pass. It's on. The pass to Davis isn't even on. If he gets it right, he's putting him under far too much pressure. There's 2 players closing in on him. And look what happens. Roos nearly bails him out. He was getting blamed for that goal, by the way, which I don't understand. But we didn't really react until the start of the second half after that goal. And then we had second half, we had a 10, 15-minute period where we was putting pressure on, but didn't create anything. And we had 3 half chances, really. We had the Lawrence shot in the first half on his left foot, which he sort of scuffed. He had another one on his left foot in the second half, which I think the keeper saved. And who had the other one? Was it Baldock on his left foot? Was he completely? I mean, I don't know if he was trying to shoot there or go across the box to Stretton, but I was going nowhere near the goal. So we just didn't create anything. There was no flair, no creativity. It was so frustrating to watch. And like we say, there's no excuse really in terms of fatigue.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the goal then, Buchanan, if that had been Craig Forsyth, he would have been absolutely crucified for that. I think Buchanan may have got off a little bit lightly here because that was such an easy pass. It was literally a simple pass back to Keller Roos. And that was it, and you clear it. But Roos, you've got to give him credit. He makes the first stop, got his hands to the second shot, but just Hogan, sorry, at the back post. Just it's easy. It's a simple finish, and again, it's individual errors. But we turned into the team we were last season. We create the goal, heads drop. Ryan Lees has commented here, who said Lawrence showing signs of petulance tonight concern me, and he's right. Because once we scored that goal, once Lawrence was getting a few little knocks, given to him. Same with Morrison as well. They both
reacted. Yeah.
And this is Lee Bowyer. He knows how to play the game. He was that person. He was that person that was going to put a foot in, leave a little bit on somebody just to wind them up a little bit. And if your captain is being wound up and loses his head, the whole team's going to lose their head. And it showed tonight. You cannot be doing that as captain. Lawrence now. Rooney says he needs to trust him. And he thinks that Lawrence can be a good captain, but he's not leading if he's kicking off, if he's reacting. You lead if you get kicked like that. You lead by setting an example and going putting the ball in the back of the net, not sulking, not because he disappeared from the game. You just didn't see him, and it's stuff like that you can't be doing as a captain.
Simon, honestly, in the 33 year, whatever it is, history of our club, we have never needed a proper captain more than now. I mean, Tom Lawrence, I know I've compared it to the Jack Grealish situation where, could it bring that extra level out of his game, that maturity, that consistency, but we just need a proper captain. We've got a team full of kids. They need somebody who's an example, who's a proper leader in that team. And on the first goal, I didn't even bother mentioning Craig Forsyth. I'm sick of defending the guy. I think he's been absolutely fantastic this season. Against Forest, I thought he was immaculate. His assist for Tom Lawrence's goal, the pass was just absolutely class, and he never put a foot wrong. Buchanan comes on, he gives the goal away against Forest by leaving Brennan Johnson unmarked, and he's gave a stupid goal away tonight. I'm not going to grill him too much. He's a young kid, and realistically, in normal times, he probably wouldn't be playing for us. But I've seen it last season. He made mistake after mistake, and he gets forward. He's got a bit of a pace. He can put a good ball into the box. But he's a defender. I'm sorry. I know he's only 20, so he could improve, but my eyes don't lie to me. The lad can't defend.
No,
people have clearly, got it in for Craig Forsyth now, a bit like Keogh, a bit like Keller-Roos, and they can't take the blinkers off.
No, you're right. Jamie Jowett here says, give the captaincy to Jags. Well, I'm thinking we've got two captains on that pitch already, Jags and Davis. They're there. They've been there, done it. Or Shinnie,
Captain of Aberdeen, mate.
Yeah, and this is it. But yeah, we've given it Lawrence. It's just, I don't know if Rooney's sort of giving it him to try and give him that responsibility to go and play. But no, for me, it's got to be the captain should have been Davis, Jags, or Shinnie, without doubt. Experienced players on the pitch. But going back to the game, Joe makes a good point here. We were so focused on keeping the ball and not getting it forward. The other issue is that we lost our discipline, but we were getting nothing from the ref. We need to be on the front foot more. And he's right, we did. We were focused on just keeping the ball possession based, but we weren't creating anything. And yes, the referee probably wasn't the greatest in the first half. I think he let a lot go, a lot of petulant stuff that may have been given last season. But I just think, he's right. We cannot lose our discipline. If we are going to play this front foot game and teams are going to press us, because, when you start playing out from the back, they'll go, oh, hang about. Let's just press them higher.
Yeah, Birmingham don't usually do
they'll
that.
Make a mistake. They'll put pressure on the keeper. He's got to kick it long. And, that's one thing that Roos has got to work on is his long kicking, because he's putting too many out to touch at the minute. But even that, though, even the long ball, we've got nobody up front with height at all. No. You can kick a long ball up, and we're aiming for Buchanan. And again, he's got to out jump, 6'4", 6'5" centre halves. It's not going to happen,
This is why I'm not going to say, why are we playing out from the back? What's the alternative? Smash it up to what? Sam Baldock. I think he's about 5'11", about my height. He's not going to win Nedder against look at that Pedersen playing centre half for them tonight. He's about 8'6". Yeah. I'm exaggerating there, obviously, but he's an absolute giant. That's just gonna lead to more teams breaking on us. And like I say, you're gonna give a few away, but when you've got players making stupid decisions like Lee Buchanan was, it doesn't help. But this is where, mate, we need to look at the board, because you can't blame Rooney tonight. What can he bring off that bench in the second half? He's brought Stretton on at half time, which I didn't mind, going a bit more. Maybe I'm thinking he's going a bit more direct, put another striker on. He's obviously gone to sort of like a diamond in the second half, try and get some overloads in the middle of the park. But just on that comment, I think Ryan made it a minute ago about us playing too slow, especially in the second half.
Joe.
It's frustrating. Joe, sorry. Because particularly at the start of the game, you see that chance Lawrence had in the first few minutes. That came from some quick 1-2 touch passing around the box. We got a chance out of it. So why we didn't do that more? I mean, Lawrence and Ravel Morrison in particular are frustrating the life out of me as the game went on. I thought the brightest player was Sibley, but there weren't enough players on his level who wanted to...
He's still not doing enough for me, Sibley. Chris makes a good point here. This is the new rule that's come in. Refs told to let more go, as the players are well aware. Ultimately, refs do not control individual discipline. Which team had discipline, which didn't? Well, it's true. Birmingham didn't really look phased about us at all. Let's be honest. I thought we had a few players that were sort of going, yeah, I'll take that hit, not bothered. But like you said, I think it comes back to the captaincy again. As soon as Lawrence lost his head, other players did. Birmingham were quite happy to kick us around all night. And, we need to do it, and we need to do it back. We need to do it properly. And, yeah, I agree. And I think the petulance needs to stop. And I think it is a good rule that's brought in. But these players know this, and they've got to adapt to this without doubt, because you can't just keep falling over. I think Sibley, there was one when Sibley got broke through and he got sandwiched between two players. Nothing given. I thought at the time maybe a little bit harsh. But looking back at it, I think they didn't really do anything wrong, to be honest. They just defended him. They just put the bodies in front of him. No real foul for me at all.
Nah, I mean, look, he does get sandwiched, but they've won the ball. I don't think the referee did that bad tonight, to be honest. I know we have had some shocking refereeing decisions go against us this season, but maybe it's playing into the agenda. But I don't actually think he had a bad game. I thought we were so poor, man. Like I said, we didn't really create any proper chances, and with games coming thick and fast with this small squad, do you honestly see it getting any better? Like maybe we've had the rug pulled from under our feet in these first few games. We've had quite a positive start, and we're thinking, maybe this season's not going to be that bad. But realistically, we touched upon it on the last show we did. We're facing down the barrel of a points deduction, and with games coming thick and fast, particularly when it gets to November, December time, the winter months, you're picking up injuries. You've got a game every 3 days. It's worrying. I mean, who could he have brought on in the second half? Who? We'll have a few more options when obviously Kazim Richards back, Bielik's back. But that's only 2 players now that are out injured. One of them's
6 academy players finished that season. 6. Finished that game. 6. Who does that stem down to? One person, Mel Morris.
Yeah, that's why I was tweeted Morris out. I don't think we're hearing enough about Mel Morris. But I really don't. I think,
we're not. And this is it. This is now where this becomes right. Okay, well, this is where we're at. But now Mel Morris cannot continue to get a free ride. This stuff with Mel Morris and this off the field stuff, it has to stop, because ultimately it will affect our on the pitch. We've got, I think they said on Sky, a core squad of 15. The rest of them are academy lads. They're not. I know there's a comment here from Ryan that says he'd like to see Dylan Williams on, but he's 17.
Yeah, you can't
expect that at all.
I like the look of the kid, what I've seen of him. I really do, but you can't rely on him to play week in, week out for you. Nothing to do with his talent. He might go on to have a great career in the game and win bloody Champions Leagues for all we know. But 17 playing week in, week out of the Championship. You look at Birmingham. They're going to be up there challenging from what I've seen so far this season. I'd be surprised if they didn't with the squad and the manager they've got. They've probably got a core squad of 20, 21, 22 players, and they'll have 1 or 2 academy lads that'll get a chance to play over the course of the season, come off the bench 20 minutes here and there. They'll be blooded properly. We're being forced to play 3, 4, 5 academy lads at the same time, who some of them aren't ready to play men's football, but we've got no other choice.
Yeah, that's a good point that Chris has come up with there. When Bielik and CKR are back, Jags and Baldock cannot sign January extensions. We've got to remember that. They've only obviously signed 6 months, which, again, it stems down to the off-field instance. But the thing is, the more games Derby lose, if we continue performing like that, continue losing like that, fans will start to say, well, hang about, this squad is nowhere near good enough to compete in this level. There's only one place we're going to head at the end of the season, that'll be League One. All of a sudden, at some point, it will turn, and the fans will turn to Mel Morris and say, this is what you've got us. You need to this needs to be sorted before January. All this off the field stuff, we need this embargo lifting before January. You know, whether he wants, you know, if we can get this squad to January and not be too far off the bottom or, you know, at the relegation zone, might be okay. But at the moment, you know, watching that performance, you know, we've got like the likes of West Brom coming up, haven't we? And you're thinking, they'll batter us. They'll absolutely hammer us because this squad's not good enough. It's not big enough. And, you know, Rooney, for me, again, he started shouting, saying he needs new players again in his press conference. But that's it. And he even said the fans need to start asking the questions as well. Someone needs, you know, we've got to make a noise because at the moment, Mel Morris is getting a free ride from us fans, because we're singing an FPFL when actually, no, regardless of what's going off with the EFL, Mel's got a job to do. You know, that there is ways and means he can get us out of this embargo. You know, he's got to pay the bills. Obviously, a transfer fee has been paid because that charge is gone.
Bielik, yeah. But it won't be any different by January. I tell you that now. Nothing will be resolved by January. You can just absolutely guarantee it. And I tell you what, we can win our next 2 or 3 games 4-0 for all I care. We've got to keep our animosity and anger towards the board, namely Mel Morris, because it doesn't change anything. If by some miracle we challenge for promotion this season, it'd be in spite of Mel Morris, not because of Mel Morris. We need to keep this energy up. We can't be all critical of the board after a bad result, which I don't even think there is enough of anyway, and then forget about it when we have a couple of positive results and performances. No.
Ryan Lees makes a great point there. The heat's been off Mel Morris because we started okay. Give it a few weeks and those fans will be out in force. Yeah, I think they will.
Needs to be. Yeah. I mean, I don't want there to be a negative atmosphere in the stadium in terms of what will affect the players, but Mel Morris certainly can't keep getting a free ride like he has been, because he has all season. You've not heard anything really in and around the stadium, or like I say, I just don't think internally for our fan base, I don't think the problem's been outlined enough, and they're clear to see. There's clear issues. It's really worrying 6 games in. Like I say, the first 5 games, yeah, we had positive performances and played some good stuff at times, but I think Curtis Davies touched upon it in his interview after the Huddersfield game. He sort of mentioned when he was playing for Hull, they won the first 2 games. I think they had about 12 senior players, something ridiculous like that in the Premier League. Yeah. And the third game, they lost in the last minute to Man United, but ultimately, they still needed players in. Those performances might have masked the problems, and they got relegated. And that's without a points deduction. Us with a points deduction, there's only one way I see it going. I hope I'm wrong, but I just can't see past League One football at the minute. And let's make clear, we're not overreacting after one loss. This has been coming ever since, for the past 6, 9, 10, 12 months. This has been coming, mate, since before Koku left.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, I've had a couple of comments on Twitter. Ryan says, this bollocks with Mel has got to come to an end. He's killing the club. Nigel says, #Morris out. He's killing the club. F off and let someone who cares about the club have a go. It can't get any worse. And D Flep's comment here, he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted. I recharged a little after Survivor last season, but I'm struggling again. Yeah, it's like you say, I know it's only one bad result, one bad performance, but everything at the moment still, it links back to last season, I feel, where we were awful at the back end of last season, and nothing's really changed now, it feels. I'm not blaming the manager on this, because it all stems down to recruitment, getting the right players in, getting season tickets sorted, things like that. They look like they've finally been sorted, but it's not been an easy ride for the fans to get back to the stadium. We missed football for 18 months. And then we want to come back. We want a nice, easy ride. We wanted to come back and go, right, we survived last season, and let's hope we can start this season with new players in, fresh faces, maybe a new owner, or at least some stability. Because at the moment, we haven't got anything. And at the moment, it just doesn't look like there's going to be any stability anytime soon. And yeah, fans can't take that. I'm not bothered if you had a season ticket for 50 years, if you've only been watching us for the past 3 years. Everybody's a fan. And people will start going, why am I bothering spending my money? Why am I bothering spending my money on something that isn't making me happy, that I'm not being entertained by, that it's just stressing me out? And as D Flep says here, and is exhausting him. They're just not going to do that. So I think if we have another couple of bad performances like this, fans will start talking, because there's a lot of noise on social media about protests, about Mel Morris and getting him out. Well, that will eventually escalate to the stands. It's got to, and that's the only way. We keep hearing about wanting answers from the board. Where's this club going to end up, etc. We're getting nothing still. Another letter went in by Rams Trust this week. Nothing still.
No. They replied within a couple. I think they put a statement out within a couple of days last time as well. So I don't know. I mean,
transparency is the key. And I get it. There's some things that fans aren't going to know about. They're not allowed to talk about. They're not allowed to discuss with fans. However, there needs to be something, because at the moment fans are worried, and whether they're saying it or they're not saying it, there will be some worried fans here that are worried about going down to League One, worrying about the financial implications of going down to League One, and worrying about where the club's going to end up. Because we've heard all about the debt, from one TV documentary on Al Jazeera. We've heard about, at the time, that was 3 years ago, £150 million worth of debt, or loans, which is debt in the club. When you've got that much, what's happening? And we don't know. And it's scary. It's a scary thing to think that next season we could be without a club, because potentially, worst case scenario, that's where we're heading. Unless Mel Morris pulls his finger out, sorts his stuff with the EFL. It's that old age debate at the minute, though. Who would take the points deduction, who wouldn't? Who would? Would you take a points deduction at the minute or not? Would you take a points deduction and know your club would be safe? As in, it would be there. It might be in League One, but it would be there next season. Or would you go, no, I'm going to carry on fighting it. Don't care. I did nothing wrong. The club did nothing wrong. We did absolutely nothing wrong. EFL have got it out for us. And then end up with no club last season. Which one would you take?
I suppose it's not that black and white, but if you are asking it in them black and white terms, then obviously I'd take a points deduction, and regrettably League One over administration. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and it is for me. That's the only reason I'd say take the points deduction now, because that could be the key to things moving forward. That could be the key to a takeover happening. Is sorting the thing, because the EFL aren't going to let us, let somebody buy a club that's in a heap of debt, hasn't shown their accounts to Company's House, isn't paying the HMRC bills. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, but
at all.
Simon, we're two fans talking passionately. What we need to remember here is Mel Morris isn't a fan like me and you. He's an arrogant, stubborn prick of a businessman. I'm sorry to be fair, swearing live on air, but this is what needs to come out. This is just how I feel, to be honest, because I don't think he truly cares. He just doesn't want to be wrong. I said this on the last show. He's dug his heels in the ground and he's not giving up. It's going to be relentless. It's going to drag on all season. I'm telling you now, it's not going to get any better. We're going to carry on having the name of our club dragged through the mud every single day. One of my mates is a Forest fan. I'm getting messages from him nearly every day about something wearing headlines for. I'm pig sick of it. But I can't. What's the defence for it? I can't. I can banter them for being bottom in the league, but ultimately, as a club, I know they're in a bit of a state as a club, but they're in a far better position to go on and climb up the league table than what we are. And I hate to say that, especially after the dross football I see them play at Pride Park a couple of weeks ago. But it's true. We're an absolute shambles of a football club at the minute. We're a great club. We're a club that, is big enough to be in the Premier League, really. We're bigger than a good 5 or 6, 7 Premier League clubs. And we're just an absolute embarrassment in the papers all the time. Every time you turn on Talk Sport, they're talking about us, not for good reasons. I'm absolutely sick of it.
There's too much defence of Mel Morris from other football club owners, other former football club owners, i.e. Simon Jordan, who I normally like, but he's far too defensive of him. Yeah, because he think I don't know what he thinks he's doing. And I can't remember it was, but I heard someone say, "Oh, why isn't a fan, a fan that try and take on a football club?" Well, one, I'm not a multi-millionaire, and is Mel Morris really a fan, or is it a business? Was it a business plan? Now, there's a great comment here on Twitter from Ian Redfern. It says, "Blaming the referee, defensive mistakes, or playing out from the back just deflects attention from the real problem. This is the legacy of one man, Mel Morris. There's every prospect it gets worse too, a lot worse. Channel every ounce of criticism in his direction." Well, what else can you say, really, apart from that? Because, I mean, obviously
No
we've been saying
reply.
that anyway, and he's right. And fans now need to start having a voice, because this could end up worse.
Mate,
And Joe here says some of the club or EFL have to tell the fans what is going on. The amount of speculation and whispers and press stories, as he didn't finish the sentence on it, which is a shame. There needs to be clarification from the club or EFL as current speculation, whispering dangerous. People not helping anyone out and just making people angry. Yeah, he is, and I get it. Ridley Dumpty, spot on. Mellor's responsible. I've stopped criticising the team now. I've stopped criticising Rooney. What more can they do? Mellor's destroyed his club and left it for dead. You know what? I'm actually, that's a great comment. Yeah, Regan's clapping you. And this is it. I've seen a lot of people who were very, very defensive of Mel Morris. All of a sudden start changing. There's a few about still, but I'm seeing more and more people start to turn now, start to change their opinion and go, this is not what I signed up to, watch football for. This is not what I became a Derby County fan for. And it's not. And they're right. We become football fans because we want to go to football week in, week out, enjoy 11 against 11 on the pitch, and hopefully, and hope our team win. And that's what we want to see. Get entertained every week. That's what we pay our money for. Not to see dross like that tonight. And then look, I suppose Monday morning seeing the paper, EFL have charged Derby again for this, and it's like, we don't want that, not at all.
Yeah, look out on Sunday morning. The Sunday papers always seem to have a field day with us. Mel Morris, look, I'm not saying he resents Derby or he doesn't care about the club at all. He probably likes Derby, but he's not a passionate fan who bleeds for the club like the likes of yourself and I do. I mean, and was it what was the lad's name who just made the comment then? I thought Ridley, you're absolutely spot on, mate. I mean, look, in terms of where we direct our criticism, I'm not going to lie to you. The last few months of last season, I was a big campaigner saying, we need a new manager. Rooney's not the right man. He's clueless. We need someone with experience. But where can you direct the criticism to Rooney tonight? They've clearly tried to attack in the second half. In terms of the bench, I mean, watching that game, he's saying, why are you bringing Jordan Brown on? Why get Stearman on? What can he do? What more can he do? He's not got one hand tied behind his back. He's got both hands tied behind his back. And with Rooney, I'm actually seeing some good coaching there this season. Most games we've created plenty of chances. We're playing on the front foot. We're trying to play quick, attacking, positive football. But ultimately, as games go on, I know we've said fatigue's not an excuse tonight, but when the game gets a bit tough in the second half, you need some fresh legs and not forget tiredness. You just need to change things up a bit if things aren't working. Birmingham have already got Scott Hogan and Jakutovic playing up front. They bring on Troy Deeney on top of that. Who have we got on the bench to bring on? It's a joke. No
one. Absolutely no one. Like, let's not forget our CEO, Stephen Pearce, who would advise and influence Mel's decision-making. Not excusing Mel, but it's a collective... Yeah, let's not forget, Mel's a businessman. Doesn't mean he's an accountant. And I believe it was Stephen Pearce's idea of the amortization policy. So...
Not a great idea.
Yeah, Mel couldn't get out of the public eye when we were top of the league on the pitch at Leeds after the semi-final win. Now it's going wrong. He's nowhere to be seen, embarrassing and spineless. Yep, totally agree. And I like this comment here from Joe. Can anyone explain to you why there are discussions over the penalty? If we have broke the rules and the issue, the penalty, if you're guilty of murder, you can't go to sentence. Yeah, this is something I'm very confused about. Why is there a negotiation between? Like I said, we've either done something wrong. This is the points penalty you're going to get, or we've not. For me, this is where, again, I think the EFL are partly to blame. They don't know their own rules. I still think they're very amateurish in how they're run. Because surely, if we've gone over the accounts, that's why I'm assuming the points deduction is for, is because the accounts aren't a breaking FFP. But why would you then be allowed to go, well, we're going to give you 12, we'll suspend it by 3, but what do you think? And Derby go, well, I don't think we've done anything wrong, so nothing really, but if you're going to have to do something, maybe give us 3. It doesn't make sense to me. This is where I think some clarity would be nice, but I don't think that, and that's something that I just can't see it coming out.
I think both sides living in cuckoo land, to be honest. I mean, the EFL, it shows that they're not very strong in the conviction. The fact that they're negotiating, look, we know he's bit in the wrong as well, but we take 9 points, 6 points, come on, let's just get this over with. Whereas, like you say, if they knew the rules properly and we was in violation of them, then there's clear policies in place to deduct X amount of points. That's what happened with Sheffield Wednesday last season. So
Reading apparently went over something like 90-odd million. They've not got a points deduction. For me, it just seems like I think the EFL. Now, I'm not saying we're innocent by a long shot, because we're not. But I think the EFL are trying to sort of go, right, I'm sick of clubs messing us about.
Yeah.
So let's prove a point. Let's use Derby to prove a point, because they're the ones we've had the most hassle with. This stems back from ages ago as well. When Mel tried to get together, I think it was with the Leeds owner, and he tried to take basically get the TV rights for the club, so the club owned the rights to their TV sort of thing. Yeah, and this is what it stems from, and people forget about that. But ultimately, Mel pissed them off. What, 5 years ago? Maybe a bit short. Yeah, maybe about 5 years ago. Mel pissed them off then, because he tried to say, "Hang about, the club should have their own rights to be able to air their own matches," and the EFL said no. But yeah, I mean, personally, I think take 3 points and just move on from this mess, but don't take any more than 6. We won't make that up. Yeah, for me,
I'd take
3 points I think would be absolutely fine. 6, again, it's 2 wins. 6, if 6 gets the embargo lifted and we can get some players in, as in a striker, because for me, I'm sorry, but Baldock, what's he done since he's been here? Scored a tap-in from 4 yards out. Other than that, nothing. He's not been in any games or anything. He's been very, very poor for me. So yeah, I would take a 6-point deduction if it meant we could get some players, whether that be freebies or whether that be. I mean, look, I believe Wilfred, like someone like Wilfred Bonney, who's like available on a free. Just even if you got him for a year, just to say, well, let's see what you've got. If you can do it for us, we'll look at extending your contract. You know what I mean?
Wages, though, isn't it? Yeah,
it is wages. But that's the thing. These players, these free agents now, they've been free for a long time now, and you got to think when September they've still got no club. So someone will go, yeah, we can come, but we'll offer you this. Only be able to offer you this. Then we can look at negotiating your wages next season.
It's a difficult on Baldock. I do agree. I wasn't overly excited when we signed him, but honestly, Simon, if we had Lukaku up front tonight, I don't think he'd have played any better. I think playing up front for us when we play like that is the graveyard shift. It really is. I mean, he just had no service whatsoever. There was, like I said, that 1.5 chance that he had where it looked like he looks like he's short of confidence, to be honest. He makes some good runs, but that chance he had, it looked like he was actually going across the box to Stretton, which I really don't understand. Just let it go with your left foot. But on Mel Morris, I was actually thinking this watching the game. I looked at Lee Bowyer and I thought, do you know what? He did a good job at Charlton, got them promoted. For Birmingham, you know what he's building there now, probably going to be up there challenging this season. A quality manager in League One in the Championship. We would have never got a manager like that. I call him Hollywood Mel Morris. He wants the big appointment study. He wants the Frank Lampards, the Wayne Rooney's, the Philip Cocu's, the Barcelona legends, Ashley Coles, etc. And it's came full circle, really, because I think he's always liked the headlines. He's always liked speaking to the media, been pally-pally and been in all the papers, for the right reasons. But now he's got his wish. He's in the papers all the time. The club's, one of the most must be one of the most talked about clubs in the country. It must be in the top 5 or 6 at the minute. So Mel Morris has got exactly what he wants, mate.
Yeah, he is. After Ronaldo coming back to United, Derby County, innit? Let's be honest. I tell you what, though, tonight,
literally is.
I genuinely can't believe that Don Goodman went, yeah, Troy Deeney coming back to Birmingham is like Ronaldo coming back to. What's he on? What's he on about? How is that? How is it anyway? He's never played for Birmingham. He's just from Birmingham.
No.
He's got him tattooed on his leg. It's nothing like that.
Crazy.
That was all it was tonight. Was the Troy Deeney show? I mean, I think do you know if like fans have managed to get in contact with Sky and let them know how we're feeling? Can they make because that's what you want to do. You get fans. If you're on Sky TV, you need to. We want Sky to sort of, I guess, promote the idea that fans aren't happy with how the club's being run at the minute. I mean, it's all right saying, "Oh yeah, Rooney could have walked if he wanted to." Most managers would have walked in and out, in the front door and out the back door and all that. But they're not saying how the fans feel. So that would have been ideal if we managed to get that done tonight. But I still think it would have been Troy Deeney over that. I'm thinking it's not even that big a deal. You've just created a headline over nothing. But that's a different story, to be honest. It was, But anyway, we'll go back to the game. I just don't see, I don't see where we're going to score from. It seems like we're struggling to score. Baldock for me is definitely not the answer. Lawrence seems by the only one who seems to take shots.
I think he's our most clinical player. That's why I put a tweet out earlier and I said with Yoswi Akai, I thought it was a massive loss, by the way. I think the last 3 or 4 games he's been really good. I actually said rather than bringing Baldock back in, I'd be tempted to keep Lawrence up top where he played really well against Forest, and maybe even put someone like a Louis Watson in, or Jason. I don't think he was fit to start, but I do think he's the most clinical player. But it's a bit of a catch-22 really, because we miss Kazim Richards' presence in the box and his hold-up play massively. But then also there's been certain periods in games where I thought, do you know what? I'm not sure if we actually look a better team with a centre forward that's going to run in behind, like a Baldock or a Stretton. So you almost sort of want a striker who can do both, who's that big physical presence, but who's going to run the channels, who's going to make them runs in behind. Someone like a Billy Sharp, I mean, his movement, I watched him for 20 minutes when he came on against in the Carabao Cup, and his movement around the box just absolutely fantastic. And, or someone like Forest have got Lewis Grabban, just complete centre forward at this level.
Yeah,
we've got sort of different types of strikers, but we need someone who can. So I do think you do need a big man in the Championship up top, even if he's not your main man. I do think you need that option. But
obviously, Kazim Richards was that option, but obviously he's injured now. But failing that, because they went 2 up top second half, brought Stretton on, but again,
didn't work.
If you're going to do that, you need a big man and a little man. You need that big man to hold it up, and then let the likes of Baldock or Stretton run off him. You're not gonna. We just didn't look like scoring in that second half at all. I think we had like a 5-minute spell where we got forward, but that was it. We just totally shut down, And I mean, David here says nearly every team has a long throw man. We passed 400 times to cover the same distance, and he's right. I think we did overplay tonight. Yes, we are playing this sort of possession-based game, this possession-based football, but we've got to move it better than we are doing. We've got to stop going, not sure. Oh, try that one. For me, the midfield was non-existent. In fairness, a guy that writes on my blog, Andy Buckley-Taylor, he basically said that the midfield would be where the battle was won today, where the game would be won. And I think he was right. For me, Shinnie and Bird were non-existent. Ravel Morrison was up and down the pitch as usual, taking off the back four, trying to look for something. But what did Bird or Shinnie do today? For me, nothing.
Nothing. No. It reminded me, especially in the second half, and went to Diamond, and even in the first half where he was playing, to be fair, reminded me of periods under Cocu in that first season where we just have no wingers. You look at tonight, you've got Baldock up top, and then you've got basically 3 number 10s, haven't you? Lawrence Sibley and Ravel Morrison. And there's no width. So the fullbacks are forced to, they've got to get forward and provide the width. But then time after time, you see when Birmingham got on the attack, Burnham Buchanan was so far forward. We were so exposed when they broke on us, particularly when they got the ball to Chong and he was able to just run through in the middle, and they had Hogan and Yakutovich right up there, basically 2v2 with Jagielka and Davis. You see that chance when Deeney came on, he put it through to the left back, Bella, and he put it across, and Buchanan managed to get back and clear it, but the back four was all over the place. Even Curtis Davis had switched off.
Yeah, it was almost, sort of just everyone forward, but you're susceptible to the counter-attack, and again, I think it comes down to recruitment. It comes down to players. I think you'll see a change when Bielik comes back. If Bielik can get fit, I think we'll see something happen in midfield there, like we did last season. Again, Jozwiak, disappointed that he wasn't playing tonight because he has been in good form. And for me, Sibley isn't a winger.
No, he's not. He's a number 10.
He's not effective at all in the wing. And Lawrence, Ridley Dump says here, Lawrence had another one of those games again tonight. I didn't mind the captaincy decision at first, but any more of that tonight, and it's starting to look a poor decision. It is. He's got to stay. We've discussed it obviously on the show. He's got to stay switched on. So where are we getting the goals from? We've got West Brom next. We'll touch on that. West Brom. I'm not looking forward to that at all. Not if it's anything like tonight's standard, because we will get absolutely spanked. We'll be embarrassed. And I tell you what, if we are embarrassed and we do come off that pitch having getting spanked, I would assume then when it comes to the Stoke game on the Saturday, there will be noise in that stand and aim towards our chairman and because Derby fans, I think they've shown some really good patience so far, and I get they don't want to sort of affect the players on the pitch, but at some point they will crack and they will just go, right, I don't care now, Mel's having it. because we can't perform like this. So West Brom, then, what we're saying, mate? Can you say anything but a loss? I don't know.
Obviously, we'll be watching it. We'll be right behind the boys. But at the minute, after what I've seen tonight, I mean, I'm looking at the league table now. Joint top of the league with Fulham. They've had a great start. They've kept a lot of the team together. They've still got the likes of Pereira from when those last in the Championship and the Premier League. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'd be very surprised going off the way we played tonight if we get anything from that game, to be honest. Because you've got to look, the teams we have got results on. Hull, I don't rate. I think they're a poor side. Forest are a poor side. Huddersfield, really, we did well in the first half, but a draw was a fair result, really, and they're a poor side. So actually, I think we've maybe got a bit carried away in these first 5 games because the expectations were so low going into the season. The fact that we've just done okay, nothing more, but we've done okay. I think we've just been absolutely on cloud nine. We've been over the moon, but now you do look at it, you think West Brom, Stoke, who have had a good start to the season, I think they're up there in the playoffs. We've then got Sheffield United away. They've had a bad start, but they're not going to stay in this bad. They'll gel. They've got a great squad on paper for the Championship. Swansea, then I think it's Reading after the international break. It's worrying times, and it's, like you said, where are the goals coming from? Kazim Richards not back for a long time. Lawrence is the only one who looks like he can score goals. The likes of Yozuak and Sibley, I do think have been playing well, but they've not really looked like scoring. Ravel Morrison, I like Ravel Morrison, but he needs to improve his decision making. Too many times in the second half, he's holding on to the ball for too long. There's a pass there. There was one against Forest, actually. It was Ravel Morrison on the ball. Sibley was making a great run through, slip it through to him. He's in on goal. Sibley's quite clinical, actually. He probably scores that. But he takes an extra 2 or 3 touches. Now, that pass is gone. And when you take too long on the ball like that, the movement around you isn't going to be as good because just naturally, if you're a centre forward in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I'm not going to move into a space that quickly because I'm not going to get the ball anyway. So what's the point? So that's when you become very static up top and very predictable. And that's what we're seeing. So there's going to have to be big changes if we're going to actually start picking up results in these games. Because you look at it now, I mean, what is it? 2 defeats, 3 draws, 1 win. If results don't go our way this weekend, we're slipping further towards the bottom 3. I know it's only 6 games in, but like I say, we're not overreacting after one bad game because this is what we was worried about going into this season anyway.
Yeah, no, of course, exactly, and that's it. You know, obviously, I think what we thought will become a reality if we don't pick up that many points over the next 4 or 5 games. And you got to think now they're coming out of Saturday, Tuesday into the international break. Joe makes a good point. I'd rather it be a 4-4-2 and you use Lawrence up top. You know what? I'm all for getting Lawrence up top. You know, and getting
best position, I think.
Yeah, I think we could work that. We saw how effective it was against Forest. Let's see it against a better team now. Ridley says, "Where's the comment gone?" This says, "Either way, it's just not good enough for this once great football club." Morrison needs to stop playing at back 3. We need him further forward. Yeah, he does. He needs to stop that habit of coming to collect the ball and trying to create things. And I think when you get someone like Bielik coming back, that's when Morrison will be a little bit more further forward and stop doing that. Joe, Ravel just lost his composure in the fact he was getting frustrated. He just lost focus and he maybe should have come off. They knew what buttons to press. Yeah, I think, was it Wood, the ginger guy for Birmingham? Ryan Woods,
good player.
He did a number on him. He kept on catching him. And to be honest, that's the only thing that grated me about the ref was the fact that, you know, Morrison got clipped a few times by Ryan Woods, but got nothing until he reacted.
Should have booked Steenie as well, by the way. Pushing Burn over the way he did at the end. He let a few things. Like I said, I don't think he had a bad game, but he just let a few things go where he maybe should have stepped in. But maybe that's the change in the rules, as we say. It's just a lot more leniency.
Rooney summed it up perfectly. Players need to start understanding when to play the ball over the top. Again, yeah, they do. They need to realise that you don't just have to keep playing that simple style of passing it on the floor, possession based and all that. And I think that's something that obviously needs to be worked on in the training ground. Rooney said to him, "This is how I want to play." Now what he needs to sort of reiterate to them is that, yeah, we can play a ball over the top if we need to. Otherwise, the striker's going to get nothing all day. We've got 2 here. Yeah. Here's one that surprised me. I was expecting to see him at some point, but will Watson ever get a proper run? And Watson should have come off a shinny and pushed Lawrence up front. Yeah. But what's Louis Watson got to do to get a bit of a run in this side, to be honest?
I've been quite impressed with him. I mean, even that first game at Huddersfield, he actually started, if you remember, and he did come off a few minutes after the second half, and Sibley came on and was probably the best player. But I actually thought in that first half he was playing really well. Sheffield United game, I thought he had a really good game. And yeah, maybe that's the one player you look at tonight and think maybe you should have brought him on, but would it have made a great deal of difference? I don't really think it would, to be honest. But I would like to see more of him. And to be honest, I wouldn't, if you're a big Watson fan, I wouldn't worry about it, because I think we will see more of him, because as we say, these young lads, they're going to have to be thrown in, because particularly there's always a period in the season where you get 4, 5, 6 injuries at a time. And the stat you brought up earlier that we've got a core group of 15, that's including, I think that'll be including 3 goalkeepers, won't it? Yeah, even Marshall as well.
Yeah.
So that's really worrying, because we are going to get that period, 8 injuries. You just, especially around Christmas time, it's worrying what the team and the bench is going to look like. Then you just hope and pray that by January we can actually do some business, and to see what the dragging on, it will do.
Yeah. Does there really think we can put does there really think we can Man City playing this? Oh, we can be Man City playing this way. It's bonkers. Bielik, Shinnie, Morrison is a good midfield in this league. Yeah, I do think it will be. I generally do think that'll be a class midfield. Koku again tonight. Yeah, it was. It was a lot like the Koku ball tonight. It really was. And then interesting to hear that Bowyer had to change his first plan on Preston and Derby. You wish it was Koku. Interesting to hear that Bowyer had to change his first plan on pressing Derby. Yeah, well, that's one thing we noticed, and we touched on that at the start of the show, that the pressing that Birmingham, all they did was change the press. That was it. They went, you know what?
Yeah.
Derby are not getting in behind us. Let's just press further up the pitch, and that's all they did.
Yeah,
and it was easy.
First
we made it very easy.
Yeah, first 15, 20 minutes they weren't doing that, and we were having a bit of joy, like I say, not creating chances really, but we're playing quite well and getting forward. But then they realised, hang on, if we put a bit of pressure on them, they'll panic, and we'll nick the ball back, and it'll lead to chances for us. And the crowd will get up, and you get momentum in football matches, and that's what they got ultimately.
Definitely. Right, just to finish then, DCFC Hub on Twitter says, Mel Morris has literally manipulated our fans by threatening to walk if he will take action against him. He's not going to walk away from recouping some millions when he sells. Our fans with a voice need to come together and organise something, please. We can stop this. Well, yeah, I think, again, it comes back to his fans making some noise. Mel Morris is not going to walk away from his club at all. If he was, he would have done it by now.
Is that a promise, Mel?
He would have sold it to someone. He would have sold it to some dodgy dealer or something like that, and he would have walked. So he's not going to walk at all if we go, Mel Morris. No, he won't. He will stay here as long as he can, because, like you say, he's got loads of money investing this. Any news on Ryan Conway? You in contact? Well, I text Ryan. Someone asked me the other day. Actually, I text Ryan the other day, see how he was. He said, yeah, he's just dealing with some things. So that's all he said, sort of thing. So yeah, I hope he's all right. I'm missing his content, and yeah. So hopefully I'm hoping he's all right. So yeah, if he's not well or anything, get well soon, sort of thing. But yeah. Anyway, it's getting late now. For me, it is only when I've got 2 kids that wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. Regan, thank you for joining me once again. It's becoming a regular occurrence. This people might start to talk.
Yeah, will you leave me alone? Stop asking me to come on.
Oh, you asked me this time, so don't give me that. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for you've had your comments and everything, and I will put it up as a podcast. If you've missed the start of the show. So anyway, guys, thank you very much, and I shall see you next time. Thank you, Regan. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Pleasure, mate.
And as always, come on, Derby.